Griner calls. I was not going to comment on any of this stuff until this took place. Watch what she says. The entire internet has reacted to this. Here's Brittney Griner. They're playing against the Indiana Fever, and look what she's saying. Go ahead, Rob.
For the ticky-tack fouls that we were talking about earlier today.
A league that's supposed to be about dunks, layups, and clutch three-pointers is serving more tea than a reality TV reunion. And at the center of this chaos, Caitlin Clark, the rookie phenom who's got the game on lock but is catching elbows and shade like she's signed up for the Hunger Games. Oh, and Brittney Griner. She's out here dropping bombs, racial slurs, cheap shots, you name it, that make the WNBA look like it's auditioning for a WWE SmackDown cameo. Spoiler alert, this ain't basketball.
It's an interview claiming that Caitlin Clark is ruining what used to make the WNBA great. Wait for this.
Empty stands?
Tom, let me just...
Go ahead, I'm so mad.
WNBA games used to be a chill, quiet place. You could bring your laptop and relax.
It's a circus, and the ringmaster's asleep at the wheel. So grab your popcorn, hit that subscribe button, and let's break down this mess with all the wit, sarcasm, and truth bombs you can handle. Ready? Let's ball. All right, let's set the scene. The WNBA used to be this chill vibe, right? Empty stands, maybe a few fans sipping coffee, catching up on emails during free throws. It was like a library with a hoop. You could practically hear the squeak of sneakers echoing in the silence. But then Caitlin Clark rolls in, 23 years old, fresh out of college, dropping dimes and breaking ankles like she's the love child of Steph Curry and a PowerPoint presentation on efficiency. Suddenly the stands are packed, people are yelling, jerseys are selling, and the league is buzzing like it's 1997 and Michael Jordan just hit a game winner. Sounds like a dream, right? Nope. Apparently this is a problem. According to Brittney Griner, all these fans showing up, cheering, and, gasp, expecting entertainment is gross. Yeah, you heard that right. The nerve of people paying to watch a game and expecting, I don't know, a game. Griner's out here whining that the stands are too loud, the crowds are too hype, and it's all Caitlin Clark's fault for being what? Too good? Too popular? Too white?
Maybe even get a little work done. But now, it's like there's a large gathering of people watching us from the stands. Some of them are yelling crazy shit about what they're seeing, putting unfair pressure on us to score like we're there for their entertainment. And that's...
Hold up. Let's not breeze past that. In a now viral clip from a game against Clark's Indiana Fever, Griner was caught on camera mouthing what looks an awful lot like trash effing white girl. Yikes. Imagine if Clark had said something similar in reverse. Her career would be over faster than you can say technical foul. ESPN would have a 24/7 panel dissecting her problematic behavior. CNN would be camped out at her doorstep with pitchforks and a lie detector. But Griner, crickets. The WNBA's leadership is sitting courtside, munching popcorn, acting like this is just another Tuesday. Spoiler, it's not. Let's keep it 100. The WNBA's got a problem, and it's not Caitlin Clark. It's not the fans filling the seats or the jerseys flying off shelves. It's the league tripping over its own shoelaces and face-planting on national TV. Griner's comments aren't just a one-off. They're a symptom of a bigger mess. We're talking racial slurs, dirty fouls, and a locker room vibe that feels like someone lit the rulebook on fire and called it passion. This isn't rookie hazing. This isn't competitive fire.
Adam, you definitely have something to say, and I know Adam, I'm going to piggyback off of Adam because Adam's been saying this for a while, that this is why the WNBA is never, ever, ever going to work and never make money. And this is exactly what Caitlin Clark gets for Ben.
This is straight-up unprofessionalism dressed in sneakers, and it's tanking the league's credibility faster than a missed layup in crunch time. Now, let's talk about Caitlin Clark for a sec. This girl is 23, fresh out of Iowa, and already carrying the weight of the WNBA's future on her shoulders. She's the Michael Jordan of this league. Sorry, haters, she is. Her game is so clean it sparkles, and she's pulling in crowds like nobody's business. But instead of celebrating her, the league's letting her get clobbered like she's in a cage match. Elbows to the face, shoves into the third row, and refs who act like they're too busy updating their Spotify playlists to call a foul. 1 minute, a player gets a technical for breathing too hard. The next, Clark's getting body slammed, and the refs are like, oh, was that a foul? My bad, I was vibing to Beyonce. Come on, man. If the refs are flipping coins to make calls, we're not watching basketball. We're watching a coin toss with jump shots. And don't get me started on the hypocrisy. If Clark had even whispered something half as spicy as Griner's trash white girl comment, the internet would implode. X would be a war zone of hot takes, and the WNBA would be speed dialing their PR team to draft a 10-page apology. But Griner, she's out here tossing slurs and shoulder checks like it's part of her stat line, and the league's response is a shrug and a vague press release 3 days later that says nothing. That's not empowerment. That's cowardice wearing a jersey. You can't preach equality and then turn a blind eye to racial slurs just because they're aimed in a certain direction. That's not how this works. Let's break it down with an analogy, because I know y'all love when I make it simple. The WNBA right now is like a group project in high school. You've got Caitlin Clark, the straight A student who shows up with a color-coded binder, ready to get an A+. Then you've got the Griners and the Reeses of the league, acting like they're too cool to do the work, but still want the credit. Meanwhile, the teacher, aka the WNBA execs, is just sitting.
Do you guys remember when she said, when we lost all respect for her, when she said, I want to say I've earned every single thing, but as a white person, there is privilege. And the more we can elevate black women, this is going to be a beautiful thing. That's when it was all over. And Angel Reese and Brittney Griner, they walk around like the league.
A league that's supposed to be all about slick crossovers, clutch three-pointers, and jaw-dropping dunks is serving up more chaos than a reality TV finale. And who's caught in the middle of this mess? None other than Caitlin Clark, the 23-year-old rookie phenom who's lighting up the scoreboard but catching elbows and shade like she accidentally signed up for a cage match. Oh, and Brittney Griner. She's out here dropping racial slurs and cheap shots that make the WNBA look like it's auditioning for a WWE SmackDown cameo. Spoiler alert, this ain't basketball. It's a full-on circus, and the ringmaster's nowhere to be found. So grab your popcorn, smash that subscribe button, and let's dive into this drama with all the wit, sarcasm, and truth bombs you can handle. Ready? Let's hoop. Let's set the stage, because this story's got more layers than a championship trophy case. The WNBA used to be this chill, low-key vibe. Picture empty stands, a few fans sipping overpriced coffee, maybe catching up on emails during free throws. It was like a library with a basketball hoop, quiet, calm, almost serene. You could hear the squeak of sneakers echoing through the arena like a whisper in a ghost town. Back then, the league was like that one friend who's super talented but nobody knows about because they don't post on social media. Solid but underrated. Enter Caitlin Clark, the Iowa supernova who's rewriting the script. This 23-year-old rookie rolls in with a game so clean it sparkles, dropping dimes, breaking ankles, and hitting shots from zip codes nobody's heard of. She's like the love child of Steph Curry and a spreadsheet on efficiency, calculated, precise, and unstoppable. Suddenly, the WNBA's got a pulse. Stands are packed, jerseys are flying off shelves, and fans are showing up like it's 1997 and Michael Jordan just hit a game winner. The league's buzzing, social media's popping, and for the first time in forever, people are talking about women's basketball like it's the main event. Sounds like a slam dunk, right? Wrong. Apparently, this is a problem. According to Brittney Griner, one of the league's biggest names, all these fans showing up, cheering, and gasp, expecting entertainment is gross. Yeah, you heard that right. The nerve of people paying hard-earned money to watch a professional basketball game and expecting, I don't know, actual basketball. Griner's out here complaining that the stands are too loud, the crowds are too hype, and it's all Caitlin Clark's fault for being too good, too popular, and, let's just say it, too white. Hold up, because we're not glossing over that one.
To this with Brittney Griner, right? And then the other quote, Rob, then I'm going to wrap this up and then I'm going to go to Adam. Put the quote of Brittney Griner, what she said about the NBA. This is so funny how all this stuff works out, right? She said,
in a clip that's gone viral faster than a buzzer beater 3, Griner was caught on camera during a game against Clark's Indiana Fever mouthing what looks a hell of a lot like trash effing white girl. Yikes on a bike. Let that sink in for a second. A veteran player, a former champion, dropping a racial slur on a rookie who's just trying to play ball. Imagine if the roles were reversed. If Caitlin Clark had said anything even remotely close to that about Griner or any other player, her career would be over faster than you can say ejected. ESPN would have a 24/7 panel dissecting her problematic behavior. CNN would be camped out at her doorstep with pitchforks and a polygraph. X would be a war zone of hot takes, and the WNBA would be speed dialing their PR team to draft a 10-page apology. But Griner? Nada. Zilch. Crickets. The league's leadership is sitting courtside, munching popcorn, acting like this is just another Tuesday. Spoiler alert, it's not. Let's keep it 100, fam. The WNBA's got a problem, and it's not Caitlin Clark. It's not the fans filling the seats or the jerseys selling out. It's the league tripping over its own shoelaces and face-planting on national TV. Griner's comments aren't just a one-off slip-up, they're a symptom of a deeper mess. We're talking racial slurs, dirty fouls, and a locker room vibe that feels like someone doused the rulebook in gasoline and lit a match. This isn't rookie hazing. This isn't competitive fire. This is straight-up unprofessionalism dressed in sneakers, and it's tanking the league's credibility faster than a missed layup in crunch time. The WNBA is supposed to be a sanctuary for talent, discipline, and elite competition. Instead, it's starting to look like a crossover between Bad Girls Club and Street Fighter, with a side of media gaslighting for flavor. Let's zoom in on Caitlin Clark, because this girl deserves her flowers. She's 23, fresh out of college, and already carrying the weight of the WNBA's future on her shoulders like it's just another Tuesday. Her game is so smooth, it's like watching poetry in sneakers. Crossovers that leave defenders dizzy, passes that thread the needle, and shots that swish so clean you can hear the net sigh. She's the Michael Jordan of this league, and I'm not apologizing for saying it. Clark's not just good, she's generational. She's the player little girl.
This is from Brittney. Every time we play her, there's this commotion, like this loud rumbling from the stands. Turns out it's people, thousands of them, just sitting there, watching on purpose. It's very disruptive. It's called the freaking...
Now let's talk hypocrisy, because this is where it gets nuclear. If Caitlin Clark had even whispered something half as spicy as Griner's "trash white girl" comment, the internet would implode. Social media would be a battlefield, with hashtags trending faster than you can say cancelled. The WNBA would be reading prepared statements like hostages, and Clark would be shipped off to sensitivity training before you could blink. But Griner? She tosses out a slur and a shoulder check, and it's crickets. The league's response is a shrug and a vague press release 3 days later that says absolutely nothing. That's not empowerment, fam. That's cowardice wearing a jersey. You can't preach equality and then turn a blind eye to racial slurs just because they're aimed in a certain direction. That's not how this works. Equality means holding everyone to the same standard, not picking and choosing based on who's in the in crowd. Let's break it down with an analogy, because I know you'll love when I make it relatable. The WNBA right now is like a group project in high school. You've got Caitlin Clark, the straight A student who shows up with a color-coded binder, a PowerPoint ready to go, and a plan to get an A+. She's putting in the work, doing her part, and then some. Then you've got players like Griner and Angel Reese acting like they're too cool to do the assignment, but still want their name on the final presentation. Meanwhile, the teacher, aka the WNBA execs, is just sitting at the desk, scrolling through TikTok, pretending the group isn't setting the classroom on fire. And the refs? They're the substitute teacher who doesn't even know what the project's about, but keeps yelling "quiet down" at random moments. Spoiler, this group project's getting an F unless someone steps up and takes charge. Here's the real talk. The WNBA isn't failing because of Caitlin Clark. It's failing because it's letting dysfunction run the court. Every dirty play, every ignored slur, every flagrant foul that gets a shrug is another dent in the league's credibility. Fans aren't shelling out cash for courtside seats to watch a personal vendetta showcase. Nobody's buying tickets hoping to see a racially charged elbow to the throat or a veteran bullying a rookie like it's middle school gym class. We want basketball. Clean, elite, inspiring basketball. Not Real Housewives of Hoop Dreams, not Street Fighter with a side of shade. But right now, the WNBA is serving more drama than a soap opera, and the fans are starting to change the channel. Let's talk about the bigger picture, because this isn't just about one player or one comment. The WNBA has the potential to be a powerhouse. Women's basketball is loaded with talent, players who grind daily, study film, perfect their craft, and live for the game. These are women who've made basketball their life, sacrificing everything to make it to the pros. They train until their legs give out, watch hours of film to get an edge, and lead by example on and off the court. And what's their reward? Sharing a court with clowns who think throwing shade is a stat and bullying is a play call. Imagine being a young girl watching the WNBA for the first time, dreaming of going pro, and instead of seeing role models, you're watching veterans gang up on a rookie while the refs play Candy Crush on their phones. That's not passion, fam. That's poison. And it's killing the dream for the next generation. So, what's the fix? It's not rocket science, and I'm not here to pretend it is. The WNBA needs to clean house, starting yesterday.
Caught on tape during a game with the Indiana Fever, dropping racial slurs against Caitlin Clark. And it doesn't take a lot of genius to lip read Brittney Griner, whose voice, by the way, is about as low as mine is, calling her trash and an effing white girl. Now, of course, if Caitlin Clark had ever suggested the same in reverse, using
Get rid of the racial agitators, the bullies in sneakers, the bench players acting like they're auditioning for a Tarantino flick. Fire the coaches who let this madness slide with their silence. Drop the execs who think chaos is a marketing strategy. You don't build a league by turning it into a circus. You build it by making it a sanctuary for talent, discipline, and, here's a wild concept, actual professionalism. Fair officiating isn't a nice to have, it's the foundation. Consistent refs, clear standards, and a zero-tolerance policy for racism, bullying, and cheap shots. That's the playbook. Anything less is just noise, and the WNBA's got enough of that already. Let's talk about the fans for a second, because some of y'all are out here saying, oh, it's just part of the game. Really? If the game now includes public hate, race baiting, and sanctioned assault, maybe we need a new game, or a new league. Because what's happening to Caitlin Clark, elbowed, shoved, slandered, and left to fend for herself, isn't basketball. It's a travesty. And the WNBA's silence is deafening. They were quick to launch an investigation into Indiana Fever fans over alleged racism against Angel Reese, but when Griner's caught on camera dropping slurs, nothing, not a peep, not even a tweet. That's not leadership. That's a league tripping over its own ego and blaming the rookie for the fall. Now let's give Caitlin Clark her prop.
I don't know for sure what was going on with what cameras caught Brittney Griner saying on the bench after she had fouled out against Caitlin Clark's Fever in Atlanta. I waited to comment on this until...
Let's set the scene. Caitlin Clark, the Iowa sharpshooter who's been draining buckets since she was probably in diapers, storms into the WNBA in 2024 like a comet with a crossover. She's not just playing basketball, she's rewriting the economic playbook. Think of her as the Elon Musk of the hardwood, disrupting everything, making bank accounts tremble, and leaving haters tweeting into the void. Since she laced up for the Indiana Fever, the league's been on a glow-up so intense it needs sunglasses. Ticket sales, up. TV ratings, through the roof. Merch, flying off shelves faster than Kanye's Yeezys. And don't even get me started on the arenas. Gainbridge Fieldhouse is pulling 16,757 fans per game, nearly double the next closest team. That's not a crowd, that's a movement. For context, that's outdrawing 5 NBA teams last season. Yep, the Fever are clowning the Pacers, Hawks, Wizards, Grizzlies, and Hornets like it's a comedy roast. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets nuts. Before Caitlin's injury, the cheapest ticket to see the Fever take on the Washington Mystics was $41.
the WNBA was able to investigate it. I wanted them to issue a statement about it, but we have heard nothing from the WNBA, absolutely nothing. And Brittney...
Not bad, right? You're thinking, cool, I'll grab a seat, some nachos, and watch Caitlin drop 30. But then, bam, quad injury hits, and she's sidelined since April 24th, 2025. Suddenly, those same tickets plummet to $3. $3! You can't even get a Starbucks latte for that. It's like the market crashed harder than a crypto bros portfolio in 2022. And it's not just the Mystics game. The Fever's matchup against the Chicago Sky on June 7th? Tickets were $86 when Caitlin was in the lineup, hyped as the ultimate Caitlin Clark versus Angel Reese showdown. Post-injury announcement, down to $25. That's a 71% drop, folks. Scalpers are out here crying harder than a Knicks fan in the playoffs. This is the Caitlin Clark effect in full force, like a tsunami crashing through a kiddie pool. She's not just a player, she's a one-woman economic stimulus package. Her games in 2024 averaged 178 million viewers, while non-Caitlin games limped along at 394,000. Last year's league average? A measly 301,000. Do the math. She's nearly tripling the WNBA's draw when she steps on the court. And it's not just TV. Jersey sales for the Fever, up 1,193%. Freddie Fever, their mascot, is getting 150% more appearance requests. Freddie, the dude in the fuzzy costume, is booking gigs like he's Drake at Coachella. Even when Caitlin's on the bench, arenas are still buzzing, like she might just pop out and drain a half-court shot for the vibes. But here's where it gets juicy and a little messy. You'd think the WNBA would be rolling out the red carpet for Caitlin, right? Like, here's our golden goose, let's protect her like she's the last slice of pizza at a party. Nope. Instead, we've got a mix of veteran players throwing shade, refs letting her get clobbered like she's in a cage match, and, get this, the WNBA commissioner acting like she's the mastermind behind this boom.
Now we're going to talk about Brittney Griner. That's right, the WNBA's woke trifecta. She's black. She's a woman, ? And she is lesbian.
Let's unpack this drama, because it's spicier than a tabloid cover. First, the veterans. Look, I get it. Nobody likes the new kids stealing the spotlight. But some WNBA players are acting like Caitlin showed up, snatched their endorsement deals, and ate their lunch. The vibe? Passive-aggressive Instagram stories, side-eye in press conferences, and quotes about rookies needing to earn it. Earn what exactly? The right to be the reason your game's on ESPN instead of a regional cable channel that also airs lawnmower races. Caitlin's not out here demanding a crown. She's just launching logo threes like her shot chart is GPS powered. Her games are pulling two. 5 million viewers when she's getting triple teamed at half court. And yet some vets are out here acting like she's the problem. Newsflash, she's not your competition, she's your elevator. She's lifting the whole league, ticket sales, TV deals, merch, all of it. But instead of catching the ride, some players are trying to cut the cables with their salty comments. And then there's the physicality. Caitlin's out here drawing more fouls than a piñata at a kid's birthday party, and the refs are just like, play on. It's like they're auditioning for Mad Max Fury Court. She's getting hip-checked, elbowed, and tackled like she wandered into an NFL scrimmage. Protect the investment, people. This isn't just about Caitlin's stat line. She's averaging 19 points, 3 assists, and 6 rebounds in just 4 games this season, by the way. It's about the fact that she's the reason casual fans are debating zone defense on TikTok. She's the league's LeBron, Serena, and Steph Curry rolled into one, and yet she's out here dodging flying elbows like she's in a dodgeball tournament. Now, let's talk about the real villain in this saga, WNBA Commissioner Cathy Engelbert. This woman is strutting around like she personally invented Caitlin Clark in a lab with a vision board and a PowerPoint titled, How I Saved the WNBA. Cathy, please. You didn't drop 40 points in the Final Four.
In the last 2 years since graduating college, is that she has been abused repeatedly. We have shown you videos just getting elbowed, getting crushed, inbound passes where they ram into her, just absolutely abused, and there clearly is a racial element to it.